Okay, guys, I'm sorry. We had a little technical issue there. Let's see if we can't do this again and do it right this time. I apologize for that. I really hate that. I hate when it jacks up like that. But hopefully we've got it all figured out. Say something in the comments to let me know that the comments are showing up this time. The comments were showing up a while ago, but it just kind of flickered, and I don't know. My power didn't flicker. I don't know. There's Kevin Wisen. There's Jason Mack. Okay. There's Paul, Ed. Okay, everybody's getting back now. Dan Cook is watching. Glad to see you here. There's Andrew back. I'm glad you found us again. We didn't go far. Let a few more people get on here, and Jason, I'm going to see if I can add you. Person was unable to join due to technical issues. Okay, Jason, look at the bottom of your screen where you see like where the comment, where you put a comment or whatever, and see if you can send me a request to join now. See if you can send me a request, and let's see if that works, please. There should be a little icon down there at the bottom. Let's see if we can do this. Hey, honey, you're back. Let me see. I will. Looking for the people. It's not showing me Jason is on there. Okay, Jason commented on the other live video. I think where we were on earlier, maybe. I don't know. Someone tag him in the comments, please, if you can. And let's see if we can't get him on here. Yolander's back. Yay! There's Mark. He's back. Shelly, you have the request to join now. Okay. Let me see if I can see if it shows him on here. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Shelly, for tagging him. I appreciate that. And I apologize, everyone, for the little mishap there with the first live. Derek, thank you. I appreciate you guys tagging him. Hopefully he'll see that we're on this live now. There's David. Hey, buddy. Glad to have you here. You guys are gonna want to watch this in its entirety, because Jason is just a wealth of knowledge, and dinos is something that we all go through with our tanks. I don't think anyone gets away with it forever. If they do, that's really awesome, but it does show up in a lot of tanks. Let's see. Let me see if I can find him on here now. Okay, it doesn't show he's on here yet. Let's see. Chad, if you will, go ahead and delete that other short video when we came on a while ago. There, Paul. Say Paul dealt with it last year. Derek, he's asked who has dinos now currently. If anyone is, wants to comment, if they're dealing with it right now. Even if you're not dealing with it right now, like I said, this is something that most of us are going to face. And figuring out the correct way, the proper way, how to approach it, is going to be invaluable in information. Dan Cook, you don't know what they are? Well, we're going to have Jason explain them, because that is one of my questions. That Jason Mack, I got a request. Oh, it says adding, y'all. Yay! Raven just got rid of it in her reef jar.
Hi.
Hey, there you are. Yay!
Well, I couldn't do it on my laptop, so I'm having to do it on the telephone.
Oh, Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it worked. Whatever you did, it worked. And I'll take that. That's
I
perfectly
couldn't
fine.
I couldn't see the icons on my laptop. It wasn't showing under the screen. So,
Oh. Oh my
but I mean,
goodness. Well, hey, it doesn't matter. I'll take you on laptop, iPad, computer, it doesn't matter. As long as we get a hold of you and we get that information, we're all going to be happy. How are you today?
yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, it's a bit late. I'm a bit tired, but normally I'm in bed now, so we'll see.
I apologize, but I'm very thankful for you graciously coming on. We moved the time slot up a little bit, but I do know it is still like midnight in your time. And I
Yeah,
know you've got to work tomorrow.
yeah.
And so we're going to get through this, though. I promise we're going to get through this. All
No
right.
worries.
Jason, I'm going to start out with, we had one question a while ago before you got here. Um, one of I believe it was Dan, had asked, what is dinos? He does not know what it is. Can you explain it, please?
It's a single-celled algae.
A single-celled algae.
Yeah,
And from my understanding, that lives in every tank. Is that correct?
yeah. Look, in nature, there's about 1,500 different types of dinoflagellates.
1,500?
Yeah, and in fact, marine velvet, the fish disease, is also from the family of dinoflagellates.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that that was a relation like that. I had no clue.
And the zooanthelia that sit inside corals are also dinos.
They can live inside the corals?
No, zooanthelia, they have a symbiotic relation with the corals,
Oh, I got you. I got you.
but
Wow.
they are also a type of dinos.
Wow. Now
They,
tell me a little bit about the types of I'll say it, dinos, that we deal with in our tanks. I know you said there's 1,500, but isn't there a smaller amount that we see most often?
yeah, we only see about 5 types in the reef tanks, and they're called Ostreopsis, Prorocentrum, large cell amphidiniums, small cell amphidiniums, and Coolia.
Out of those 5, which one do you see more often? Any one more than the other?
No, I would tend to say we see more seasonal changes with them. So in certain parts, certain times of the year, you'll see one that seems to be appearing more than the others, and then it changes. Then all of a sudden, we'll start to see more of another type.
Oh, I see. I see. And now some of those are more like a airborne type.
Sorry?
Some of them more live in the water column itself.
Now, Ostreopsis and Coolia, at night, they will migrate into the water column. And we find with small cell amphidiniums and large cell amphidiniums and Prorocentrum that they tend to migrate more into the sand or into the rocks.
Wow.
That's why we have a difference in treating them.
Okay. Now, Derek has said he's starting to think pollen in the air. Do you believe that has anything to do with it? When you spoke of the changing of the seasons, do you think any pollen issues has anything to do with it?
I don't know. And I don't know if there's ever been any studies done for that either. So,
Okay. Now,
I mean, we don't really know where they come. I mean, they're in every system. They're part of the ecosystem.
right.
Only a healthy tank keeps them in check.
Now, what led you to go on the journey that you have traveled as far as the amount of knowledge that you have of dinos? What led you down that path?
Simple. I got dinos, and I had to deal with it. And I got them twice actually. I had at one time I think 2 different types in my tank at the same time. And
Is that
yeah,
common to have 2 different types?
yeah. And we've seen tanks with all types, all of them at the same time, all 5.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Now, can you talk a little bit about, okay, no, say we don't have them. Can you talk a little bit about the prevention to keep from having them?
Keep a healthy tank. Make sure your nutrients are up in line, so within range and not anywhere near 0.
Right.
And dose live phytoplankton and copepods. Get, the biodiversity in your tank. The more, the better.
And can you have too much of that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Possibly.
Okay, so, you talked about the prevention and stuff. Now, if you're seeing dinos or what you believe to be dinos, is there a way how do you determine what you have so you can know how to treat it?
Get a sample under the microscope. That's the only really real way. Yeah, Ostreopsis are the most recognizable because they tend to go all over the tank. They'll go on rocks, they'll attach to corals, they'll attach to equipment, glass, and they have long, slimy strings with bubbles on it. So they're the most easiest to identify. But the others, it's you really need we need a sample under the microscope, and then we can really see what the difference is. We have to be able to see the mouth or the beak on them. That's the only way we can see the difference. We can tell the difference with them.
Now, out of those 5 types, let's say, you determine that you have one of them. Is there different ways to treat the 5, or do you treat them all in the same manner?
No, for Ostreopsis and Coolia, it's an oversized UV. So minimal 1 watt per 3 gallons, and then flow through it needs to be 1 to 3 times your tank's volume, no more. And it needs to be temporarily set up in the tank so that it's pulling and returning water from your display. So not set up in the sun.
I gotcha. Now, we have a question here from Mark. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'll read it. Is it a possibility as to why we were seeing dinos more often in tanks is because of efficient equipment and additives, which in turn causes nutrients to bottom out?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, now,
the thing with Dinos is Dinos is the last it's the last phase of a whole series of things that have happened in your tank. It's the last, this is the outcome of everything before that's happened. It's the result of. So you're missing things in your tank over a period of time that has led you to Dinos, and it normally comes from people. They have other problems, so they'll have cyano, or they'll have a bubble algae, or they'll have hair algae, something like that. Then they'll do a treatment for that. Vibrant has been used a lot wrongly for treating Dinos, and that was a big cause for a lot of people for Dinos, was because it just bottoms everything out. It's taken away the competing elements, algae and other things in the tank that you need. And the Dinos can survive in 0 nutrient conditions.
So
and
when
that's why they take.
I've read watched in groups and stuff, and someone will say, "Oh, I've got this red stuff all over," and you'll get the common response was, "Black the tank out for 3 days or 4 days, whatever." Do you find that helps, that hurts, or what are we talking with that?
Well, we find with blacking tanks out for 3 days it has a negative effect up the tank, and especially with Dinos, because all it does, it forces Dinos into their cyst form, and they lay dormant till the conditions favor them. So normally a week, 2 weeks after the lights out is gone, they come back, and they come back harder.
So what you're doing is actually adding fuel to the fire with those,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. It's
So,
one of the myths that everybody says, yeah, do a blackout and you'll force them into the water column. Yeah, you're going to force some of them, but not all of them. Some of them are going to be forced into cysts, which are going to come back later. And dinos, in the right conditions, can reproduce so fast. You can't keep up with it.
wow. Now, David says, is the trend towards dead rock and away from real live rock from the ocean a factor in dinos becoming more common?
Yeah, definitely.
So
Definitely.
the odds are better if you start a tank with a real live rock. Is that it's better for your tank?
Yeah, definitely. And if
So
you're having problems with dinos and you can get a piece of live rock, proper live rock, do that, add it to your tank, and that will definitely help.
just adding a piece of live rock
Well, not just that, but it will definitely help adding
will help.
extra biodiversity.
Wow. And so that's what you want to have, is a good biodiversity.
Yeah.
Okay, Ed asked how to get them out.
Yeah, using the methods described. So either if it's Ostreopsis or Coolea, then with a UV, then heavy dosing of live phytoplankton, get your nutrients up, dose your bacteria, maintenance dose once a week. You know, reduce your lights a little bit, run more blues, less whites.
Gotcha.
And if it's Prorocentrum or LCA or SCA, then it's dosing silicates, also known as water glass, or also known as liquid sodium silicate, 40%, or it varies. They're normally between 36 and 41%, but it's all in the same range.
Wow.
And with that, you're going to create a diatom bloom. The diatom feeds off silicates, and then the diatoms are going to outcompete the dinos.
Oh, I gotcha. So it's just this big cycle of what takes care of the other item.
Yeah, it's trying to use nature against nature. Yeah, okay, a UV not, but obviously with the silicates.
Right.
And
Awesome.
also a big factor most of the time is trace elements in a tank. When trace elements are out of balance, this is when we start to see problems. And it
So
can,
keeping the like on last week's live when I was talking with Andrew, we were discussing a little bit about the trace elements, the zinc, fluoride, mirabidium, that kind of thing. So, you know, I guess you can probably suggest that maybe an ICP test and see where your nutrients are at and get them in check. That is going to make a difference.
yeah, definitely. Because
Awesome.
some trace elements like combine when they're working together. So iodine, vanadium, zinc, molybdenum. I think fluoride was another one. Zinc, nickel. These are going to, when in balance, are going to inhibit the growth of fast-growing algae or cyano or pathogens or dinos.
Awesome. So it would be very beneficial that if you're, you know, to keep all those nutrients in check, to invest in getting an ICP test done. They're not that expensive.
No.
Well worth it, right?
Especially if it's an older tank. If it's a newer tank, then you know it's like new tank syndrome or the ugly phase.
Right.
But if it's an older tank, more than a year or something like that, yeah, then definitely do an ICP test and then correct any halogens or metals that are off.
Okay. Douglas has asked, how old should a tank be before getting an ICP test? Any thoughts?
Whenever you want. I know people that'll do it from starting up a tank. After the first 4 weeks, they'll do an ICP test.
Oh, I gotcha. Now, why do you think, other than, you know, the equipment and things that we talked about, do you think there's other factors? Because years ago, you didn't hear that much about dinos. What's some of the factors that's leading up to a lot of people having them now?
Personally, I think LED lighting, because, yeah, like you say, 10, 15 years ago, everybody was running T5s, metal halides, and everybody was running ultra low nutrient systems as well. Zero nutrients was the big thing, and nobody had dinos, or hardly anybody had dinos. And over the last 10 years, like the equipment that we have, you have now your roller mats in your sump, and tanks are running a lot cleaner. You know, the equipment is getting better. We're getting better with feeding everybody, you know, and all this comes into it.
Wow. So you think the lights, as the lights have progressed and what they believe to be better lights and stuff, has contributed to the fact that we're seeing a lot more of that?
Definitely.
Wow.
It's only over the last 10, 15 years that the real, like, SPS corals have really taken off, where we've got to a stage where we can actually keep them in our tanks. Before that, it was always so hard to keep SPS in a tank.
Wow. Okay. Now, you talked about cyano a while ago, and I happen to have a box that was sitting here. I ordered it, never opened it, never used it. What's your thoughts on something like the ChemiClean?
It works, but yeah, really, if you bring your nutrients into line, and when we say in line, for every 1 ppm nitrates, you want 0.01 ppm PO4. And then we recommend for a mixed reef, how to keep your nutrients, your NO3, between 5 and 10 parts per million.
Yes.
And the PO4, 0.05 to 0.1, 0.15 or something like that. And you keep it like that, you keep them in balance. And cyano, after a few weeks, will just burn itself out.
Wow. So using something like this is basically putting a Band-Aid on it, correct?
Yeah, but look, most people who get dinos and they get cyano, the cyano is also going to help outcompete the dinos. So by removing the cyano, you're also taking a competitor away from the dinos. And cyano is easy to treat, so let it lie, leave it, take out the worst places, obviously, or something like that. But just leave it and get your nutrients in line, and the cyano will disappear.
Wow. That's amazing. Now, I know a lot, I've seen on a lot of groups where people have, you know, they'll post, you know, their tank and equipment. That's it. I'm done. I can't take this anymore. And a lot of it that I have seen is due to the fact that they have dinos in there. And I think it's very sad to throw in the towel on something that can be fixed.
Yeah, but I think with that as well, it's like I said, dinos are the last result of a series of things that probably happened. So it's you start a reef tank and you tend to go from one problem to the next problem to the next problem. You solve one problem, you get another problem, and you do that. And after a while, it can get overwhelming, especially if you have like a massive hair algae outbreak, and you've used Vibrant from that, and then you get dinos, and all you're doing is just spending money on cures for your tank, and there's no pleasure in it. You don't want to look at your tank anymore. That's what I had, at least when I had mine. I'd come downstairs and I'd walk past the tank like this. I just couldn't look at it.
Right.
I'd almost cry.
I know it is extremely hard. Now, Mark has asked, would a UV sterilizer, if plumbed before the filter sock section in a sump, be effective?
No.
No?
And I don't know the answer to this, but we tend to find that dinos don't tend to go through the sump area. Yeah. Sometimes you find dinos in the sump, and sometimes you find them growing on your chaeto in your refugium or something like that, you know. But most of the time, the best results we see is when it's plumbed straight into the display. And if you do it the way we suggest, normally within 7 days, your Ostreopsis will be gone. Coolia can be a little bit more stubborn. It can take a little bit longer, but normally within 7 days, Ostreopsis will be gone out of the tank.
Wow.
And then you run the UV as it is for another couple of weeks, and then you can take it out and set it up in the temperature room.
So speaking of a UV, that is not something that you want to continue on. You don't want to leave it on 24/7. I've seen people say I run my UV 365 days a year. I've seen some say I run it once a week for an hour. Do you have a point of view on that?
I would use a UV if you need to use a UV. So if you've had ish in the tank, or whether you've had dinos in the tank, or algae or whatever, and then shut it off. But I mean, there's new studies being done now that says that they see free floating bacteria in the reefs, in the sea, that we don't see in our tanks. And some tanks, I don't know, I haven't read the study properly, but some tanks with UV don't have this sort of free floating bacteria. But the consensus always was that all the good bacteria that you have lives in your rocks and in your sand, and it's not free floating. So yeah. I think it's a personal choice. Some people swear by it, and other people don't. So
right. Now, Mark also says, so the larger population remain on the display. Maybe flow reasons. Do you think that your flow rate, does that have an issue with it?
I don't know. I don't know if it's because maybe the dinos, they stay low down in the tank at night in the water column, that they're not coming up into the overflow.
Wow.
I don't think there's really been a study done on it properly. If I had the money, I'd do it. I'd set up a lab and I'd do all the testing I could, but unfortunately, I'm a poor reefer.
Most of us reefers are, and that's why we're poor. Oh my goodness. Now, you had previously on the Tank Talk with Tian page, you had posted a PDF file. And just briefly tell me what is included on that so I can send people to find that.
That's all the information you can find on my group that is put together in a PDF. I think it's like 15,000 words long, but it explains the steps you need to do before you can make an ID on your dinos. So getting your nutrients up, adding dosing for live phytoplankton. There's pictures in there to help with identification. The methods we tell you the methods on how to set your UV up, to set it up in your display, how to dose your silicates, and everything that we know about dinos, and also Christophytes, because Christophytes is another one that looks so much like dinos to the eye, but under the microscope you can see the difference.
Wow. That's amazing. So basically, to get the real determination as to what type you have, you're definitely going to need a microscope.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And you can check by your local fish shop, your local aquarium shop, to see if they have one. Or most of the time, your local library will have one that you can use.
That's
so you
true.
don't necessarily need to buy one, but if you have dinos, and especially if you dose your silicates, you will need to take regular samples to check the stand between the dinos and the diatoms as to how many, what is what, 50-50 or 20-40, to see if you're getting an improvement or not. So you have to repeat samples to check.
Wow. So, can you read Derek's comment? Let's see. Someone's talking about having the UV on for 3 weeks.
Yeah. And he still has these people are from my group, so I know what they're talking about. So.
Oh, okay. Good deal. And I do appreciate you inviting and posting on your pages. I believe you've got 2 different pages, correct?
How do you mean 2 different pages? No, I have the Dino group and then I have my own page.
Okay. All right.
But
Good deal.
I would like to say that my Instagram account has been hacked recently. So if anybody gets a message from me that I'm offering a giveaway of 3,000 euros or dollars, it's not me.
Oh,
So
no.
I'm trying to deal with it. I've now set up I've got now a new Instagram account. I've lost all my followers and all the people that I were following as well now. So, but I've
Oh,
had
my
a
goodness.
few people text me tonight saying, "Am I doing a giveaway for 3,000 euros?" But I'm not. It's not me, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Oh, that's sad. So you do have a new Instagram account up, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. I would appreciate it if you would, after the live, or I know it's late there for you, or do it tomorrow. Drop your Instagram link
yeah,
on the Tank Talk page so we can all follow the right one, please.
yeah. I will definitely.
That's perfect. Gosh, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I know it's super late over there. I know it is. So I'm not going to keep you and just pick your brain totally, because we might want to do this again. Um, I know you are a wealth of knowledge. I spoke to you on the phone personally for about 45 minutes, and every time you'd say something, I was like, what? Really? Wow. I didn't know that. So I knew this was going to be a very informative interview uh, with you. Now, I know that you have invited people to the page, and I appreciate that so very much. Let's see what Anthony says. He's had Dinos for the first time 5 years ago. He agrees that it was caused by a tank that was too sterile.
Mm, yeah,
Nitrates between 10 to 15, along with dosing bacteria. And that's exactly what you said. The keeping everything too clean.
yeah.
Is it,
But we do also see dinos in tanks with higher nutrients as well. So it's not just always zero nutrients. It's over the whole range.
right? It's kind of a combination of things, and it's kind of like leading up to the perfect storm, I guess, so to speak, when everything falls in line, and then here they
Yeah,
come out, right?
yeah. That personally, that's what happened to me. I think I started. I had a bubble algae outbreak. I used Vibrant to get rid of that. I ended up with cyano. I treated for that, got rid of that, and then I ended up with Dinos. And then it took me a few months to try and find out what I had and how to treat it. And someone said, "Yeah, you need a UV." Now I have, I think, 3 different UVs in my under the stairs now that were all too small every time, you know, and because I
Yeah,
got the wrong information every time. And someone said, "Yeah, you need to get a UV. You read it on the box. Okay, yeah, this is enough for my size tank. Put that on it. Yeah, it doesn't work." And then I go to another one bit, and then another one bigger after that as well. And you know, for me, dinos aren't scary anymore. For most people, they can be so intimidating, overwhelming, and yeah, destroying, especially when it's destroying corals and your livestock. And
right.
that's the reason why I wanted to start the group, was to be able to help other people, to support other people that are going through it, to tell them it is bad, but it's not that bad. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You can beat it. You can get your tank looking the way it was before, or certainly getting it further along to where it should be.
And you know all this because, I mean, it's not just what you've read in a book or just what you've looked up and researched. It's because you've lived through this, correct?
Yeah, but I've not only lived through it on my tank, I've lived through it through other people's tanks as well. Even, I mean, my group is, I think, 2 years old now, and I've been helping people with dinos for more than 5 years. I've been doing it in my own area here in Holland, and on a few other groups I was busy, and then yeah, and then I thought, you know, I just want to put all this information in one place.
Yes. And I'm positive that you have helped so many. And I appreciate you dropping the PDF files that you did. That
Yeah,
is going to be a great reference point for us all. And if I can't do it, I'll try to have my admin to do it, is to pin them in the file section so they do not get lost down in the comments.
Okay.
So that way, huh?
If people go to my group and they go
Yeah.
to the file section in my group, we have the PDF is also in Spanish, French, German, Dutch, Philippines. So, you know, we try to cater for everybody. So it's available in most languages now.
So pick your language and start reading and studying, right?
Exactly.
Jason, I want to thank you so much for coming on here. I've been very excited since we spoke on the phone the other day, and I knew you was going to have the answers to a lot of questions. I'm not going to keep you on here and just make you listen to me rattle, because it is very late, your time. And I appreciate everything that you have given us. Like he said, he's going to drop his new Instagram account. So please, guys, go over there and follow that. And if you're not a member on his page, I would very greatly appreciate it if you would go over there and join his Dino page. And I believe the link is on Tank Talk for that also. If you can't find it, we can surely drop it again. And just, we'll refer to the files, the sections and stuff, and keep an eye on your page, because I know from reading the posts and stuff, it is absolutely right there. You just got to follow it. You just got to know.
Well, I'm always available for people can send me a PM and I'll help people one-on-one, and it's not a problem, or they can go on the group and they can ask. I have a fantastic team of mods and admins that really know their stuff. That, they helped create the PDF file with me. So it's a top team, and we're there to support people.
Absolutely. That is wonderful. And we will go and check it out. If you're not a member of Jason's page, please go ahead and do that when we close the live, because it's something that, like he said, it lives in all these tanks. It's just whatever's going to bring it out. And the more that you're prepared, even if you don't have it right now, the more that you're prepared and the more that you're going to be less shocked when it does pop out, and then there's that ounce of prevention that's worth a pound of cure, which is trying to prevent them.
Yeah. Well, having to deal with dinos will always make you a better reefer. You'll always learn so much more about your tank and how to deal with your tank and the understanding of your tank.
Right.
And it makes you a better reefer. You've just got to keep at it. Don't give up. It can be beaten. They can be beaten.
Yes, absolutely. They can be beat. You have proved that, and you've taught so many people that. And for that, I really thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us tonight, Jason Mack, and get you a good night's rest, because I know you're tired and you do have to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I have to get up at 5, so 4 hours I have to go. So, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it'll be all right. It'll be all right.
Thank you very much. We're going to be looking for the Instagram link for your new Instagram. And we're going to try to get some people on over there to your page also. We do have another special guest coming up next week. I'm not going to not going to tell you who it is, but they are from the States this time. Let's just say you're going to enjoy it. I will post a post tomorrow introducing our guest for next week. Jason, thank you. This has been very informative, and I have enjoyed speaking to you so much.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks a lot for inviting me on.
Thank you very much. You have a wonderful evening, viewers. Take care, and I will see you next Tuesday on Tank Talk. Bye, guys.
Bye. Happy reefing.
Happy reefing.